Welcome, fellow freaks, geeks, and nostalgic 90s nerds to my channel, Slime and Slashers, where, yeah, we talk about everything from Nickelodeon slime to horror movie slashers, but plenty of stuff in between. Today, we're just going to be talking about some badass books. We're going to be talking about my July TBR, and I can't wait to go through what I'm going to read with you guys right after this short intro. So stay tuned, and we'll go through it. Welcome back, guys. It's like 7 a.m. I got up really early today because I was planning to get up early anyway. So I said, let me knock out my July TBR because as of the time of filming right now, it is the very end of June and I am cutting it close with releasing my TBR video. So hopefully I can get this up later today. The first books I want to go through with you are my book club reads, and if you guys didn't know, I do have a channel book club. We are called the Midnight Book Society, and of course that is an ode to Are You Afraid of the Dark, the wonderful 90s show. By the way, guys, I don't just like the 90s. I like the 80s, I like the 70s. However, when I say hello and welcome all you, 90s nerds out there and nostalgic nerds, it's because, I do really like the 90s because I'm a 90s kid. However, I don't usually say welcome 80s nostalgic nerds, but 80s nerds, 70s nerds, you are welcome too. It's not just for 90s people. So just wanted to clear that up. However, yes, there is a lot of 90s nostalgia featured on this channel, and I'm very proud of that because it's fun to talk about something that I very much love. A decade that I believe is one of the best decades ever, especially in terms of cartoons and a lot of other things, but the 80s were pretty darn great too, if you ask me. Alright, so let's get into the channel book club reads. So my book club is open to anyone and everyone, so feel free to join in if you'd like. Every month, it has turned into where I read 2 different books. At first, I thought I was just going to have one channel official book club read per month. However, the polls I had been putting out had been getting a lot of votes, and there were always 2 books that seemed to be in the higher range of voting. And so I thought, well, all these people are voting for these 2 books out of however many books are in the poll. So let me just, if someone's not feeling one and they voted for the other, then that way they could choose which one they want to read, or they could read both, and I'll have live shows for both, and everyone will be happy, and I will be happy because a lot of times I'll nominate things that I want to read that month anyway. So, same thing happened for July. I nominated books that I wanted to read regardless, and everyone seconded one book or the other book, so I was like, I'm just gonna read both, and they'll both be my channel book club reads. So the first one, and again, you don't have to read both, you could pick one or the other. If you're not feeling either, don't read either, but we will have a live show for each book. So the first book, and I'm so excited because I've been wanting to get to this forever, it's Boy's Life by Robert McCammon. I've heard so many great things about this, and my TBR is rather small this month. However, I am reading some chunkers, some massive big boy books, and so this is one of those big boy books that I described. As you could see, it's rather long. I have never showed this before. I have 2 paperback editions of Boy's Life, but recently, on a book shopping trip to Florida specifically, I found a nice hardcover, first edition, bitch! Very excited. Look at the beautiful hardcover. Look at it. Yes. It's lovely. I love it. Bicycle right here. So this is a coming of age story with some, horror elements, but I think it's more about the characters, the coming of age journey, and this was published originally in 1991. I have been wanting to read this for over a year. It would be longer, but I've just really gotten into reading over the last 2 years, essentially. But yeah, I can't wait to dig into Boy's Life. That is our first official book club read. Live show date to be determined later. Stay tuned to my community tab. Also my Discord. I announce dates, both of those places. Next up, and you can see I have a bookmark in it because I started this last summer and I'd like to finish it. I didn't not finish it because I wasn't enjoying it or anything. I just got sidetracked with other things and I was like, I'll get back to it, and then I never did. So, Ghoul is our second book club read. This is by Brian Keene, and this will be my first Brian Keene read, and this one matches with the theme I have going for July, and that is coming of age, because this is another, coming of age story, but there's also like a creature involved, I believe, like a monster. I have read the first chapter, the prologue and the first chapter, so I'm on chapter 2 according to my bookmark. We'll see if I end up restarting from the beginning or if I can remember enough to pick back up. But again, we've got a group of boys growing up, facing all the odds, and some of them are facing odds at home in their home life, but then they also have to come to terms and face a creature. That's at least my understanding of the story. So I'm very excited about this. Once I complete it, like I said, it'll be my first Keene read, and I'm very eager to get to this. Again, live show date to be determined later, and I will post that once again on my community tab, and stay tuned to my Discord. I have a public Discord. I will link it below. Another project that I'm working on this year, besides having book club reads every month of the year, I also have a King read every month of the year of this year, and that is because my friend Kat and I are doing a year of Stephen King, where we read a Stephen King short story or book every month of the year of 2022. It's been going very well. We've had some real gems that we've read this year, and for my friend Kat, she's a King expert. Most of the reads are rereads. This next book I'm about to discuss, which will be our July pick for the year of King, that will also be a reread for her, and it will be a semi-reread for me, and I'll explain why. This will be my third attempt at reading this book. Can I get through it? I will say the first 2 times I attempted to read this book, I was not a big reader. I did not consider myself a reader, whatever that means. It means that back in the day, I had trouble focusing on reading. I didn't think I was made or cut out for reading. I was really conditioned to think that reading was for school, reading was work, reading was hard. Anyway, I have since gotten over that. But since I have already started the beginning of this book, like hundreds of pages in, 2 other times, and I have a decent memory, I think I'm going to listen to this on audio so I can get through that part where I've already read, and kind of, hopefully it'll get me over that hurdle, and I will be able to actually get all the way through this book. Again, it wasn't because I wasn't enjoying the book that I stopped, it was because of a lot of different reasons. The time of my life where I was not reading a lot, I couldn't dedicate a lot of time to it, etc., etc. You guys don't want to know. It is Stephen King's It. So not only will Kat and I be reading this and discussing this in a live show, and that live show has a date set, we will discuss this on August 7th, it's a Sunday, and we'll be discussing it at 2 p.m. Central Time. This is a freaking chunker. I don't know. I have read a book this long before, and that would be another Stephen King book called The Stand, of course. I read that last year. I think it was last year. Yes, last year. And so, because I read that book, and this book is almost like the exact same page length, I know I can read this in a month. I read The Stand in a month. But, will I be able to read this and more books? This is why my TBR is rather small, but it's filled, I should say. It's filled with freaking chunky freaking books, and I'm nervous, but I think I'll get through all of them. Alright, so we will also be discussing the 2 movie adaptations, technically 3 if you count the 2-parter new movies. So, the original 1990 made-for-TV movie adaptation with Tim Curry, we'll be discussing that. We'll also be discussing the 2 movies with Bill Skarsgård, who plays Pennywise. So that's 3 movies we'll be discussing, and we will talk spoilers. So please, if you want to join the chat and you've already read the book, make sure you also watch the adaptations. That's 3 different movies, because they sell the made-for-TV movie as a standalone DVD. You could find it like that online on Amazon. I already have a DVD of it because I love Tim Curry as Pennywise. In fact, he's behind my head. There he is. That's Tim Curry back there. The glare from the sun is kind of reflecting, but yeah, that's Pennywise. He's back there, looming. So yeah, I can't wait to read more about Pennywise. Again, this is a coming-of-age book, and it's about these kids having to face off against Pennywise, but Pennywise is more than a supernatural clown. There's more going on. So yes, I hope you guys will join us on August 7th to really dissect all things It. Next up, another coming-of-age book, and I don't have a physical copy, but I am going to have one very soon. My friend Alex, over at the channel The Bookubus, please check out her channel. She is marvelous, she is wonderful, she is just a joy. because she sets up all kinds of fun events. She loves all kinds of vintage horror books, and we are doing a buddy read together, and she has sent me a physical copy of this book. She sent it to my parents' house because I told her to, and I have not checked over there yet, so it could be over there as we speak right now. But the book we are reading together as a buddy read will be Toady by Mark Morris, and I'm very pumped about this read. It is yet another coming-of-age horror story, and I am very excited to get to this one. And yeah, it's another chunker. So we're talking about thousands upon thousands of pages that I will be reading in July, hence why my TBR is literally 5 books long. So that is my 4th book of my TBR, Toady by Mark Morris, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward to reading this with Alex. Next up, and sorry if you can hear the air conditioner, I was supposed to read this. Speaking of Alex, she had a really fun event at the end of June called Scary Sleepover Weekend. This was on my TBR for that. You might suspect that I did not get to it because it is on my July TBR now, and that is because Amy over at Amy Noel Reads will be discussing this as her book club pick for the month of July. Her book club is called the Dark Hearts Book Club, and I will be participating because I really wanted to get to this in June. I did not get to it then, but I will still be able to read it and finish it in time to make Amy's book club meeting. So I'm very excited. This is Cirque Berserk by Jessica Guess. It is a fun little slasher set at a carnival. I have a feeling, because I heard from a little birdie, that this has a supernatural flair. I'm here for the carnival setting. That is what I'm most intrigued by because I love any kind of horror story set at a carnival or fair. So yeah, I'm here for that specifically, but I've heard this is an entertaining good time. I don't know if any slasher will top my current favorite slasher right now, but we will see if this will top, you know, my current favorite slasher read, which right now still is Taste Like Candy. I guess it's a spoiler because I have not talked about my month of slasher reading from June. I read all kinds of slashers all month long in June, and so you might be wondering, did I find a new favorite? Yeah, I actually found a couple of favorites, but I don't know if I consider them pure slashers. And so because of that, Tastes Like Candy is still my #1 favorite slasher book, and also very close second, Under the Blade by Matt Serafini. Those are still my favorites. But yes, we'll see what I think of this when I'm done reading it in July sometime, and you guys will get to hear when I do my July wrap-up. Alright, this is a relatively short video, but somehow I still made it long, only talking about 5 books. Kind of like my TBR. My TBR is small, but somehow it's also large at the same time. Same thing with this video. A little bit amount of books to talk about, and yet it's a massive video. Anyway, that is my TBR for July. Are you guys planning to join me for my book club reads, or one of the 2 at least? Let me know down below in the comments. I would really like to hear about it. Have you guys read any of these books? If so, did you like them? Did you enjoy it? No spoilers, please. We don't want anyone to get anything spoiled in the comments, but still, I want to hear you guys' opinions. Alright guys, thank you so very much for watching. You guys know I appreciate it each and every time. And to any of you new subscribers who are watching right now, thank you so much for subscribing. It means a lot to me. Hopefully you'll enjoy my videos that I will have coming out soon. And there is a very large backlist of content if you guys want to see some of my other book hauls. I've got a ton of book hauls, and I'm going to be filming a lot more coming up soon, so that's some stuff to look forward to. But for this time, guys, that is it for me. Till next time, you guys know what you can do. I say it each and every time. Keep on killing it. Bye, guys!